Friedrich Nietzsche's The Power Behind Morality. Why do you think people try to be good? Is it because they truly care, or because they want to control everything? Friedrich Nietzsche believed morality isn't as pure as it looks. He said that behind many kind or humble actions, there is a hidden wish for power. For him, it wasn't really about honesty, self-sacrifice, or goodness. It was about who gets to decide what good even means and who gets to rule the story. Nietzsche was one of the boldest thinkers in philosophy. He didn't just question religion or tradition, he also questioned morality itself. He introduced two big ideas, the master morality and the slave morality. These two ways of seeing values, he said, shape how people and societies decide what's right or wrong. What we call good or evil is not always the same everywhere. It changes depending on who holds the power. Because of Nietzsche, we begin to notice how people use moral ideas to hide their real motives. When someone promotes fairness or kindness, they may not always be driven by love. They might want to control how others behave. Morality, in Nietzsche's eyes, often works as a disguise, like a mask that covers up our fight for dominance. It tells us who is allowed to rule the story of right and wrong. Nietzsche wanted to reveal the illusion that people act from pure selflessness. Most of us believe moral rules are here to protect fairness and kindness. But what if these tools are built to control human behavior and keep certain groups in power? Think about a coworker who constantly pushes the idea of team spirit and yet criticizes anyone who takes individual credit. It sounds generous at first, that they care about fairness. But maybe what they really want is to stop others from standing out. Promoting humility can also be a way to avoid being outshined. Nietzsche said morality works like this on a massive scale. It's in politics, workplaces, and religions. Long ago, the powerful rulers, warriors, and nobles created a kind of morality that praised strength, pride, and courage. He called that the master morality. Later, when the weak or oppressed groups fought back in spirit, they built a different kind of morality. They praised humility, patience, and kindness, calling those traits good and labeled pride and strength as evil. This was surely slave morality. Nietzsche believed neither system was based on truth. Both were tools for survival and control. We inherit these systems today, and we are still following rules designed centuries ago to serve someone else's interests. Let's delve into Friedrich Nietzsche's profound ideas on morality, specifically his concepts of master and slave morality, and observe how these powerful distinctions manifest in our daily lives. First, let's explore the concept of master morality, a framework born from the perspective of the powerful and the noble. Imagine ancient rulers or formidable warriors whose existence was characterized by a rough and direct engagement with the world around them. For these individuals, good was intrinsically linked to qualities like bravery, immense strength, and the undeniable ability to command respect from others. Power was not something to be concealed or apologized for. Instead, it was openly displayed, something to be admired and revered by all. Conversely, any form of weakness was met with disdain and was actively looked down upon within their societal structure. Success, unwavering courage, and profound honor were considered the highest virtues, precisely because they served as undeniable proof of one's inherent strength and capability. This particular kind of morality was fundamentally created by those who had already achieved victory and dominance, serving to celebrate their established reality and position. Now let's shift our focus to slave morality, a contrasting ethical system that emerged from a very different social context. Picture a powerless group, individuals who were compelled to obey, lacking the physical strength or means to actively fight back against their circumstances. In response to their subjugation, they began to fundamentally redefine what good truly meant, shifting its core values. Instead of extolling the virtues of raw power, they began to praise gentleness, compassion, and kindness as the new ideals. Rather than celebrating pride and self-assertion, they honored humility, patience, and unwavering faith as paramount virtues. This new morality offered them solace, asserting that their suffering was noble and that their oppressors were inherently wicked. It provided comfort in their perceived weakness and bestowed a profound sense of dignity, even in the face of defeat. Nietzsche viewed this as an incredibly clever psychological transformation, where powerlessness was ingeniously converted into a form of moral superiority. This dynamic interplay between master and slave morality is not confined to ancient history. It appears everywhere, even in our contemporary everyday lives. Consider instances when someone labels a successful individual as arrogant or selfish. This judgment isn't always rooted in objective ethics. Often, it can be envy cleverly disguised, a manifestation of what Nietzsche termed ressentiment. Ressentiment is a buried resentment that ultimately finds its release and expression by morally judging others, often those perceived as superior. Social media platforms provide a particularly fertile ground, an arena where this behavior frequently plays out. Online outrage, for example, is frequently presented as genuine moral activism, a righteous stand against injustice. However, beneath the surface, it can sometimes be driven by a desire for validation, seeking approval, or even a subtle quest for dominance within the digital sphere. Each new moral stance adopted online often becomes a strategic way to gain more followers and secure greater approval from one's peers. In Nietzsche's discerning eyes, these seemingly virtuous acts are, in essence, modern tools of power, cleverly disguised as moral virtue. His argument was both simple and remarkably sharp. Morality is never a neutral concept. It is inherently biased and serves specific interests. It represents an ongoing, often unconscious, struggle to shape meaning, define values, and ultimately control the behavior of others within society. Understanding these dynamics allows us to critically examine the moral frameworks that influence our world and our interactions. Nietzsche figured something out that most people never want to admit. Morality isn't pure. Behind every moral code, every rule about right and wrong, there's power at play. Now, when we talk about power here, forget politics for a second. This goes deeper. It's the fundamental human impulse to grow, expand, assert yourself in the world. The interesting thing is that even kindness operates this way. When someone writes a massive check to charity, sure, but maybe they're also craving that recognition and that warm feeling of superiority. When your friend offers you advice, it sounds helpful, right? Except maybe they're actually keeping themselves above you and maintaining that subtle control. I'm not saying everyone's faking it. Motives are complicated, sometimes layered like an onion. What appears selfless on the surface often carries something else underneath. Try this exercise. The next time someone tells you how you should behave, pause and ask yourself, who wins here? Does this rule keep me quiet, obedient, and playing small, or does it actually serve me? Nietzsche argued this simple question reveals everything. It usually strips away the mask that moral claims wear. The breakthrough happens when you stop treating morality like some sacred, untouchable thing. Once you see it as a tool, as just another instrument people use, you will start noticing the patterns. You watch how individuals wield these values to lift themselves up while pushing others down. And no, this awareness doesn't turn you into some bitter cynic. It makes you clear-eyed and it protects you from manipulation dressed up as virtue. So here's what Nietzsche really did. He demolished the fantasy that morality operates neutrally in the world, and he exposed how concepts like good and evil function as weapons in ongoing struggles between people. Some systems celebrate strength and conquest, which is the master morality. Others praise humility and submission, which is the slave morality. Both serve whoever invented them. And underneath everything, driving all of it, sits this will to power, the hidden engine behind human behavior that we pretend isn't there. So, what do you do with this knowledge? Start paying attention. Watch the next time someone wraps their agenda in moral language. Notice when you're doing it yourself, because we all do. This isn't about becoming paranoid or distrustful of everyone around you. It's about developing sharper eyes. Question the oughts and shoulds that people throw at you. Dig beneath the surface of your own motivations. Are you acting from genuine conviction, or are you playing a game you didn't even realize you entered? The people who understand this and who truly grasp how morality functions as strategy, those are the ones who stop being pawns in someone else's game. They create their own values instead of blindly accepting what's handed to them. Remember that the unexamined moral code you're following might not be serving you at all. It might be serving someone else entirely.